Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. I had a request on how to draw magnolias, so I thought we would do that today. You'll have to forgive me, this little bit of light keeps flashing through the back window here, so I keep trying to block it. And I've also lowered my camera really low. I've had a couple of people ask to get a little closer as I'm drawing. The only dilemma with that is the camera's so low, I can't tell whether or not I'm in frame. So I'm going to try not to move this paper and we'll see how it goes. So let's do some magnolias. I did a couple little practice sketches here, so I thought we would play with that. I just have some standard white, it's a little bit off-white paper. It's just a standard paper, and I use my 0.7 size lead, and it's just an HB lead. So let's play with this. I'm sorry about that light. I'm going to try and block it. I'm going to move over a little bit and see if that stops it from coming in. Okay, let's do this. So what I like to start with is the center of the flower. So there's all kinds of different magnolias. We're just gonna kind of, like we do with all our quickie sketches on my channel here, is just capture some form and texture. So I'm going to start with the center, and some of them have these very pointy centers and some of them have round centers. So this guy's a little bit more round, and I'm just really squiggling lines, kind of implying that texture in the center. So then we're gonna, I love drawing magnolias because of the leaves. The petals are so much fun because you can be really creative with them. And they're very easy to capture in the sense that they're not an exact shape on every petal. So what I like to do is I pull it from the center and take it back to the center, and then I like to give them some curves and kind of make them all roll up on themselves. So we'll do one coming out this way. Still kind of growing towards you. It's growing this way, and this one's growing this way. I'll roll that back, and then I'll give this one a little bit of a lip as well. And it's instant form is what I love about these petals, just by giving that little bit of a curve here. And you can do it on every petal, no matter how many petals you give your flower, they can still all have these little curves and bits and pieces. So I'm going to start with the 4. I might maybe pull this one out in front a little bit. Let me just grab my eraser. So if you overlap the petals on top of each other, what that tends to do is create even more form. So let me just clean that up a little bit. So we're going to put this guy back in the center, and I want this one to overlap this one, so I'm going to pull it over top of it. And again, creates more depth. So this one's underneath, this one's over top. Just going to have a quick check here, make sure I'm still in frame. Okay. So now we start the second layer behind. They kind of alternate. So I'm just going to give it another piece here. I'll put one in here, kind of off center, so it's not perfectly centered. Do another one maybe over here. Do one growing down like this, so it curves this way. This one's going to curve this way. This one kind of curves over on itself. And then you just kind of check the overall composition of the flower and see how big and mature you want to make this flower. So I think that's plenty of petals. And then I'm going to give it some leaves here. So magnolia leaves I find are just as pretty as the actual flower. They're thick and very shiny, and they've got some really beautiful veining. So let's throw a few in, and again, you just play with your composition, see where you might like them, and what direction you want these leaves to go in. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate and talk. And just keep curving these veins. So let's do maybe one more over here, and then the veins. So I like to shade it in. I'm gonna just start pulling out some shade from the center, and I like to kind of make lines as I go back And as I go back, I look at the shape of the leaf and I curve those lines accordingly. So you got to think in dimension here to capture the form of these petals. So this one, for example, isn't just flat, it curves. So I have to move my wrist. Hopefully I'm not in the way because I don't want to move the paper. And hopefully you can see this a little bit better. I got to kind of practice getting the camera up close so that you can see a little bit more detail. And then this one. Again, those contour lines, curving the lines to match the shape of the leaf. And this guy is curving up, so it would curve like that. And then we'll play with the darkness of these in a second. We'll shade them in a little bit darker. Right now we're just kind of catching the form of each petal. And I might switch to a softer pencil just for fun. I haven't drawn with any other pencil in quite some time, and I have my trusty little pencil case here, so let's see what we've got in it. I might not have any other pencils. I haven't looked in that pencil case for so long, but I just found it. So again, contour, straight, contour. And you would move the paper, obviously, to make it a little bit easier on your wrist. And work with how your hand holds your pencil. Okay, and then we'll go in here and just pull some texture into these leaves, again following the contour of the leaves. And this guy here. And you can see it's pretty loose and pretty quick. You can slow me down or speed me up, whatever you like. And just give it a go on a piece of paper, on a napkin, whatever you've got handy, and just doodle. And like I always say in my videos, it's about relaxing, having fun, trying to capture the form. It's not about creating a masterpiece. It's about learning something, a little something every time you pick up the pencil or a pen. And you're just training your brain to see things and training your hand to put down what it is you're seeing. And it takes time, it takes practice like anything else. But like I said, a little bit every time, you learn a little something. And you'll find too, like I've said in other videos, that there's things you do like to draw. There'll be things you like to draw and things you don't like to draw. And that's what makes sketching fun. Don't even know if I have another pencil in here. I have a pen. No, I don't. Oh, what's this one? That's an HB, which is basically what I'm using. So no softer lead. I really got to get organized here. All right. Uh-oh, I moved my paper. Okay, there we go. That should work. All right, so we'll just push a little bit harder. So if I used a softer lead, I can just draw like I would normally, and the lead would do the work. But in this case, where I want it to be a little bit darker, I'm going to just push a little harder on the pencil. So where I choose to put this darker shadow is where I want other ones to pop. So you see where I darkened it here and darkened it there? It instantly moves this one forward. So if I put a little bit of dark in here, a little bit of pressure in here and back here, you'll see the center of the flower start to pop forward. So you can have fun playing and figuring out where to put the dark, put the shading, I should say, and making things pop forward without going too dark. And if you do go too dark, you just take your eraser and lighten her up. So this one sits in front of this one. So what I might do, just to prove my point, is I'm going to darken this one, and then I'm going to lighten this one and have that come forward even more. So this one's behind both of these, so I'm going to now darken this one. And it's nice to have that range of pencils from, say, an H to a 6B, because you can really play with this range then. This range of shading and having fun creating depth by using shading. Capture those veins. I'm going to darken this. The leaves are a pretty dark green, so you can go pretty dark all over the leaf, but you can still indicate a little bit of light and shadow by leaving some spots lighter. So, for example, I want the light to hit, say, about here, so I'll erase a little bit and then just put the texture back in. There's still a little bit of a lighter spot there. So the eraser is a great tool as well to play with. And again, you would move your paper. I'm just trying to keep my hand out the way here and stay in frame. All right. So this one, there's pretty much the same value. So let's say this is where the light is going to hit the top of this petal here. That's curved over on itself. Cast a little bit of shadow on the petal behind. And then, of course, it's going to cast a shadow down. My light source, of course, is coming from here. So I'm going to throw a little bit of shading underneath this leaf where the light won't get it. Again, bearing in mind the contour. I'll make sure I'm staying true to the form and shape of this leaf. And it curves down like this. So I'm going to say the light's not hitting this side of the leaf. It's maybe getting a little on the top here and not so much on the bottom. And of course, if you have a live reference in front of you or a picture in front of you, it's much easier to visualize. But we're just making this one up as we go. Clean that edge, maybe lighten this side just a little bit. And let's put some veining back in. Our veins in these leaves are pretty dominant. There we go. You just want to take your time and make sure you define each petal and each leaf. Okay, so let's do this guy. So I'm going to pull them out from here. I'm going to darken behind because I want this to stand out a little bit more. But this guy's pretty much in the light, so we'll lighten up the edge of this leaf. I'm going to have to move my hand over here. Pull it over. And then I think we'll darken this a little bit since that line's so dark. And then we'll put some veining in here. Okay, I don't like that vein. It's the wrong angle. Okay, let's do that again. I'll make it curve this way. There we go. That's better. Okay, just put a little bit of texture back in and just keep playing. So let's make this piece back here, this petal, a little bit darker. I think it's pretty dark. And then again, we'll darken back here. Just pop those petals, these petals forward. We'll leave this nice and light at the top here because it'd be right in the light. So on these curves here, again, they would also cast a tiny bit of a shadow. So let's put a little bit of shading under these little curved pieces. And they also need just a hint of texture on them. So I'll just pop a little bit in there. I think that's good. We've captured a little magnolia here. I think this guy needs to be a little bit brighter. So we'll just clean that up a little and apply that texture back in of those little ruffles in the center. Define them a little bit on the edge, a little more. There's our magnolia. I think it's good. Nice little sketch. So we can do one in pen as well. Let's maybe do one that hasn't quite opened yet. Let's see here. I'm just trying to find a reference of some kind because I'm not overly familiar with magnolias. I had a magnolia tree and it was a small one, but I had to leave it behind when I moved, so I miss it. But they're so pretty in the spring when the flowers come out. Just love them. All right, so I'm getting ahead of myself here. So here's the first petal, and I'm just doing basically an oval. And this is going to be very sketchy because I'm using a pen, and I like to work nice and loose with the pen. So I'm going to give it its little, I don't know what this would be called, where the petals grow from. So the little casing that's now opened up. And I'm basically just doing a pretty funky shape here. It's hard to describe the shape, but it's a casing like almost like a shark tooth in a way. If you wanted to just pause the video and kind of draw that out, it's hard to describe shapes like that. It's more like you just have to give it a try and a feel until you get the shape you're looking for. So here's the side petal. Here's another side petal. Again, same rules apply. Looking for the contour and the shading. And then maybe there's a few inside here that haven't quite fully opened up. And we'll just fill those in. I like drawing magnolias too because I love the branches. The whole tree is beautiful. The leaves, the branches, because the branches are very elbowy and they've got a lot of sharp corners, so they're really fun to sketch. So they kind of zigzag and they're thick. They're a hardwood, I guess, or they're not a soft wood in the sense that it's nice and smooth and willowy. They're very thick and edgy. So they're fun to sketch for that. What should we do here? Do another, let's do, am I in frame here? Sorry. Let's do another one real quick here where it's open and it's sitting on the branch. So we'll do the center. I always like to start with the center. You can see I just scribble. And then I kind of determine where my flower is going to go. So I can do a leaf here. I'll do a leaf coming off here. Another one this way. Maybe one curving away from us a little bit. So there's my main ones. So now I'm going to put the background ones in. And maybe one down here. And then one off center up here. And that's it, because the rest are kind of camouflaged in here. So this disappears behind. And then we could even put another one coming up behind here, where it's just starting to open. Put this one a little bit more closed, maybe. I just draw some wiggly lines. And then when I go to shade them and give them texture, that's where I can determine more detail as to what's behind what. So this one is behind the two side ones. And again, nice and quick. There we go. Oh, I hear another airplane. And the same thing, I'm just going to scribble in the textures. There we go. following the contours. Nice and loose. And then this way. Again, move your paper. Try not to contort your wrist. Have control of your wrist. Move your paper around instead of your hand. I'm trying to stay out of the way here. I think we'll put one in here. And that's the fun of it. You can build them as big or as little as you want. Just start with the center. It helps a lot. And build out from there. So there we go. There's an ink one. And I'm using a graphic 0.2 little line marker. But you can use anything, ballpoint pen, whatever you've got handy. Do a leaf off here. Maybe, and you can, again, look at your composition and decide what you want. So I think we could put a little bit of weight down here with a leaf. And then color that in. And of course, you can always add color to these. Watercolor, pastels, chalk, whatever you have. Go paint with your distressed oxide. I really love that look. I have a video on how to do that. That was a lot of fun. A really kind of gives you a real neat watercolor effect. So you do need a good piece of paper to do that, but for today we'll just sketch. Maybe just an indication of a little leaf back here. There we go. And I think I'm going to add some pencil on top of that. Let's do that. Just for that warm kind of shine that it gives this graphite pencil. Just a little mixed media. And again, you can see very quick, very sketchy. I just like the combination of the two on this warm paper. And I'm just throwing it all over. And there you go. So hopefully that was close enough. There's the first magnolia and the second with the ink and the pencil. So I hope you like that. I hope it gives you some ideas. And again, you can just use scraps. You can fold them and make pockets out of your artwork. You can photocopy it. You can digitally upload it and reuse it and manipulate it. So you get a lot of fun use out of all your sketches. So have fun with that. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you back again. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.